Hi, welcome to the MindBody Project. My name is Eldine Thorne. The MindBody Project is a specialized service to help you overcome depression, anxiety, and phobias, as well as reduce the risk of type 2 diabetes, obesity, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, heart disease, and IBS or irritable bowel syndrome. So please, please, please go and check us out. So why is my anxiety happening more in the morning and more at night time? Let me tell you this little story. When I was at school, I just come back off break, just lunch break. So I've had my food, sitting there with a food coma in class, half daydreaming, just sitting back, relaxing, half falling asleep. And all of a sudden, the teacher goes, Eldane! And I went, like that. And then what she did then was she then said, get in front of the class and tell us what we were just talking about. I weren't paying attention, but what she did was she put me in a fear state, and then she put me in front of the class. And that was the first time I've actually stood in front of the class. So what she did was, unknowing to her, suppose she has good intentions, but she anchored a state so that the whole me looking at a class or group of people, it gave me a fear. Okay, so it gave me an anxiety straight away by just doing that one action. Okay, so that's what she was doing. Now, what does my unconscious mind do then? So my unconscious mind goes, right, it scans the environment for new things. So it scans the whole environment, says, what's new about this situation? This state, this fear state that you're in, something in the environment's done that. And then what it did was because this was a whole new experience to me, standing in front of the class, it goes, standing in front of people gets me in this state. This is something to avoid. And it learned that, and it caused me a problem for a long time to be able to stand in front of people and be able to speak. So but the reason why it's done that is because its prime directive is to protect the integrity of my body. It's trying to protect me. Okay, that's what anxiety is. It's trying, your body and your mind, your unconscious mind especially, are trying to protect you. So there's a positive intention in what's happening. So when you have something in the morning and nighttime, there's something going on there where your unconscious mind is trying to protect you. Now, this could be, there may be something going on. If it's been going on a while, it may be that's the best time to communicate with you, just before bed and just as you're waking up. That may be the best time your unconscious mind can go, excuse me, you need to pay attention to something. Okay, so it's giving you a positive intention. So let's look at these positive intentions. Protecting me, that's number one. It will sacrifice everything to protect you. Yeah, you will self-sabotage yourself. It will create illnesses. It will do anything to avoid pain, especially anything that it views as life-threatening. So if you go to do something life-threatening, you're going to find a massive anxiety or fear coming about you because your unconscious mind is trying to protect you. That's its number one thing. Okay. The other thing it could be doing is offering help. Yeah. The only way that your unconscious mind can communicate to you is through sensations. It's like a child that can't speak. The only way it can communicate is through sensations in the body. Okay. Remember, its number one directive is to preserve the integrity of the body, and you will be avoiding anything, any situation that your unconscious mind deems as dangerous to you. Okay, but this can be corrected. It might be saying offering help. Again, we are not trained to build to talk to our unconscious minds in the Western world. We don't get taught that at school, college, workplaces. Parents probably don't know that. So this is why this is causing a major issue in this country. It's not that anything's wrong with you, it's that we don't know how to communicate with our unconscious mind. The other thing it could be, and this is what happens to a lots of leaders or people who push themselves. Lots of people who are successful get anxious, but what they do is they don't let it stop them. And they get anxious because they are doing something brand new, something they haven't done before. So you go out of your comfort zone into a fear zone, but then after you get through that, you then go into a growth zone and then the learning zone. Okay, so this is an opportunity to actually learn. So that is a reason why. And so the fear of the unknown, if you're fearing things the unknown, then that's a natural thing to actually happen. So if you're doing something brand new, it's yeah, you're going to be, it's a fear, but don't let that stop you. So what are the solutions for this? The first thing is you've got to understand anxiety is not going to be dealt with by just simply talking or in this state that we are now. This is what we call a beta brainwave state that we're in now, normal waking state. That is not the state to be correcting any of this. Yeah, this is why talking therapists really struggle with these type of issues. So what you have to do is you have to get into a relaxed state, which is called an alpha brainwave state. And what you want to do then is do some alpha brainwave exercises, such as meditation. On my personal development master's course, I go through how to do meditation properly, step by step, because a lot of people tell me they do meditation and said it doesn't work for me. And I'm sitting there going, tell me what you just done. And I listen to it and I go, yeah, I don't know what you're doing. Yeah, so you need to understand there's some principles involved in doing the meditation properly, because it is called a practice. Yeah, so it takes time, that does. You can do some NLP new code techniques. Now, the good thing about NLP new code, as opposed to NLP classic code, which is the normal NLP you may see trainers do, if it's not called NLP new code, then it's the classic code. But the new code stuff involves using your unconscious mind through every step of the process. So your unconscious mind gives a signal, a yes or no signal, when you're doing the process. So you're essentially negotiating with it. So in that, you get taught how to communicate with your unconscious mind. You can use the NLP high performance games, which I have numerous ones of, and lots of people around the world who use the games I've created. These are my go-to things because they're really quick. And what they do is they get both hemispheres of the brain working on the problem. So they give you access to all of your brain to be able to solve the problem, especially when it comes to dealing with anchors or the anchor of the anxiety or the trigger. Or I like this as well is timeline techniques, which can release the negative emotions. So they are good things. If there's lots of fear in your system, in your mind body health system, then I would use timeline techniques to take care of the fear and communicate with the unconscious mind. Because there's one thing that Milton Erickson said, who's a famous hypnotist, and he said, the patients are my patients because they have a lack of rapport with their unconscious mind. Because we are not taught to do it. We're just not. So this has to be taught to you. And once you learn how to do this, once you learn how to communicate with your unconscious mind, then you're going to learn that these sensations and feelings that you have around the body are your unconscious mind communicating with you, not so you don't view it as that, hey, I've got something wrong with me or disorder. It's always communication. It just needs to be taught that so that you can actually use your unconscious mind as a resource rather than viewing all these sensations as a problem. The other thing you can do is exercise and nutrition, but I'm going to talk more about that on other videos. But Anxiety is a breathing problem. So your breathing affects your physiology affects your state, and your state affects your performance and behaviors. So you always want to be strengthening your heart and lungs, so that rather than doing breathing techniques after the anxiety's happened, you want to train your body, train your heart and lungs, so that your breathing is increasing and your heart lungs are getting stronger the whole time. So you want to be increasing that the whole time. And nutrition, I'm going to talk about that more in other videos. Language patterns, and this is about the communication again, because your unconscious mind eavesdrops on your internal dialogue and accepts everything you say to yourself as true. So that's an area where we need some personal development. And then the other thing is as well is setting an intention. Some of the questions which I'm gonna look at later, the way the question's asked, it's going to cause you a problem. Okay, because you're asking the problem in such a way that you're stitching yourself up. Okay, so but I'm going to talk more of that when we get to those things.